My name is Ethan, and welcome to the first devlog for the game that I am working on. Like most indie devs, you never know if you're actually going to complete a project, so this may be like the first of 3 episodes before the project ultimately gets canned and I move on to something else and get bored. So as the title of this video states, this is the prologue, which means I have been working on this game for a few months now. I started in around early December of last year and have just been working on it in my own time. However, I actually have the confidence that I will probably see this project through, unlike my various other projects. For example, the last one that I was working on, I worked on it for 3 whole years. 3 of them. And I just didn't like where it was going, and I scrapped it. But from all my canceled projects, I have taken one thing away. Plan out your next one. And that's what I did with this one. The background gameplay footage is from an earlier build of my game from about a month or so ago, so it may look a tad rough. However, its inclusion is important before I explain where the project is now. The premise I had going for this project was that the game was going to be a top-down dungeon crawler where the player would gather loot and resources to sell in their shop. I wanted to keep the game small by basically constricting them to a small hub area that had a mine shaft as an entrance to the areas where they could do the fighting and looting. After a few months of building out the mechanics of the game, I noticed it'd become very stale and boring if the player ever only saw one camp and saw the same assets reused to make a bunch of dungeons. So I considered my options and decided to build towards a small open world. The last sentence probably raises some red flags, as most indie games go open world, but then never see the light of day because of it. However, to combat this issue, I did lay out some ground rules in the design document, so I shouldn't stray too far off my path. To keep my game small and manageable, I want to make a small open world but pack it full of content. My self-imposed restriction for designing the new map is that something interesting must be found every 20 seconds apart. This would allow me to keep the map small, but fill it out with content very quickly. Additionally, this would allow for much more diverse content and gameplay, as the entire map is just one huge level instead of 20 tiny levels, which would just become very repetitive. And even on a visual level, this will just allow me to do much more with the project. So now that I have explained the basic premise of my game and how it developed into its current concept, I want to explain what my plans are with this series and where I want to take it going forwards. Firstly, I want to use this series as a way of staying committed to actually finishing this game. As I already stated, I have a tendency to axe my games, so if the series goes well and people show some interest, this will provide me with some much needed motivation to continue development. Plus, I just want some way to document my progress on the game, and YouTube videos just seemed like an interesting way to do that. I feel like it would be something nice to look back on if I do make it to release. And my last main reason for starting this series is I just want to know how other people think about my project. And starting a series on YouTube just kind of seemed like the obvious choice to me. And I'm definitely the first person on this platform to have this totally original concept. As for what the next few videos will be, I genuinely have no clue. I just expanded the scope of my project, so right now felt like the perfect time to start the series, so I'm thinking that a video about designing the map could be the obvious next step, as my game looks like a bit of a wasteland after removing the hub area. But I also feel like I should make some more enemies and mechanics so I can actually fill those locations with things to do first. Either way, I guess we'll just have to wait and see what I prioritize in the next video. Anyways, thanks for watching my first video, and feel free to share your thoughts, good or bad, in the comments below. As a side note, this is like my first time properly editing a video since 2017 when I used to have a YouTube channel and I was like 12. So it might not be that good. Plus this is the first time using a PC to edit a video, so I can only imagine how great the comments will look. Anyways, thanks for watching and see you next time.